172 Hollow Creek Road looked like the perfect place to raise a family. It was anything but. The first night in the new house, I couldn't sleep. Not because of the unfamiliar surroundings, or the moving boxes stacked precariously in the hallway. It was the silence. An oppressive, heavy silence that seemed to suffocate the sounds of the crickets and rustling leaves outside. We'd moved from the city, and I was used to the constant hum of traffic, distant sirens, the muffled bass of a neighbor's music. This was unnatural. Around 3 a.m., I finally drifted off, only to be jolted awake an hour later. A floorboard creaked downstairs. I held my breath, listening for my husband, Mark. But he was snoring softly beside me. I told myself it was just the house settling. Old houses do that. I tried to ignore the nagging feeling of unease. It happened again the next night, and the night after that. Each time, a single, deliberate creak, always downstairs. During the day, the house felt normal, even welcoming. Sunlight streamed through the large windows, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. The scent of old wood and lemon polish hung in the air. But as soon as darkness fell, the atmosphere shifted. It grew cold and the silence deepened. I started seeing things in the periphery. Shadows flickering in the corners of my eyes, a fleeting glimpse of movement in the hallway mirror. I'd whip my head around, but nothing was ever there. Mark dismissed it as stress. He was working long hours to pay for the house, and I didn't want to burden him. One afternoon, while unpacking boxes in the attic, I found a small, wooden box tucked away in a corner. It was intricately carved with images of twisted trees and grotesque faces. Intrigued, I opened it. Inside, nestled on a bed of faded velvet, was a single, dried-up raven's foot. A chill ran down my spine. I slammed the box shut and shoved it to the back of the attic. The creaking intensified. It wasn't just one floorboard anymore. It was a symphony of groans and sighs, as if the house itself were in pain. I started hearing whispers too, faint and indistinct, like someone was trying to speak to me from behind a thick curtain. They seemed to emanate from the basement. I couldn't take it anymore. One evening, while Mark was at work, I decided to investigate. Armed with a flashlight, I descended the creaking stairs to the basement. The air was thick with the smell of mildew and damp earth. The flashlight beam danced across the rough stone walls, revealing cobwebs and strange, rust-colored stains. In the far corner of the basement, I found it, a small, wooden door, almost hidden behind a stack of old lumber. It was locked. I tried the handle, but it wouldn't budge. I ran upstairs and grabbed a screwdriver. After a few minutes of struggling, the lock snapped open. I hesitated for a moment, my heart pounding in my chest. Then, I pushed the door open. The room beyond was small and windowless. A single, bare bulb hung from the ceiling, casting long, distorted shadows. In the center of the room stood a child's rocking horse. It was old and worn, its paint chipped and faded. But what caught my attention was the seat. It was covered in the same rust-colored stains I had seen on the walls. As I stared at the rocking horse, it began to move. Slowly at first, then faster and faster, rocking back and forth with increasing violence. The shadows in the room danced and writhed, and the whispers grew louder, coalescing into a single, chilling word, leave. I stumbled back, slamming the door shut. I didn't stop running until I was out of the house and halfway down the street. I never went back. We sold the house for a loss, and I never told Mark what I saw. He wouldn't have believed me anyway. But sometimes, late at night, when everything is quiet, I still hear the creaking. And I see the rocking horse, rocking back and forth in the darkness. I don't know what was in that room, but I know it didn't want us there. And I know that, somehow, it's still watching. I can feel it. I think it followed us.